Good morning, everybody. Well, uh, we've been talking a lot about respect, and I've been very impressed with what I've seen so far. And lots of you have stopped me to talk about respect and tell me things that you've done, which is brilliant. And I've noticed how you're walking up and down the corridors and being polite and so on, which is fantastic. And that is all very respectful. So well done, everyone. So this morning's story as well might be one that you've heard before because it's from Aesop's Fables. And it's all to do with being kind and friendly and helpful to people. And as we've said before, if you're kind to people, it usually makes them want to be kind back to you. If you're nasty or mean or selfish, then that doesn't help people want to be kind back, does it? So the actions of the fox in the story make the stork. A stork is like is a bird with big long legs, a little bit like a flamingo. You know what a flamingo looks like. And the actions of the fox make the stork want to get her own back. So let's listen to what happens. A fox and a stork lived quite near each other in the woods, but I'm sorry to say they were not the best of friends. One day, the fox decided to play a really unkind trick on the stork. He went to the stork's house and said, would you like to come and have dinner at my house tomorrow? The stork thought it was, well, very strange that the fox should be inviting her to dinner, but she thought, well, maybe the fox is actually really trying to be friendly for once. So I don't want to upset him if that's what he's doing. I'll show him that I'm going to try and be friendly too. Yes, she said, I'd very much like to have dinner at your house. Oh, good, said the fox. Don't be late. We don't want the soup to go cold, do we? And he laughed in a mysterious way. The next day, the stork went to the fox's house. Ah, hello, he said. Come in and sit down. The soup is almost ready. The stork sat down at the table, and in a few moments the fox brought a wide, shallow dish of watery soup. And he put it down on the table in front of them. In my part of the wood, said the fox, we usually share a dish. Don't mind that, do you? Well, of course not, answered the stork. But she looked a bit unhappily at the low, flat dish. The fox started to drink the soup noisily, lapping it up easily with his tongue. The stork, however, hardly managed to have any soup at all because storks have got very long, thin beaks. She put the tip of her long, thin beak into the soup dish, but the dish was far too shallow for her to be able to drink any of the soup. She was much too polite to complain to the fox, and anyway, she didn't want to upset him. The fox greedily and noisily drank all of the soup, while she sat there looking unhappy and feeling hungry. When she set off home after dinner, she heard the fox laughing at her, and she knew he'd played the trick on purpose. He thinks he's got the better of me, said the stork to herself. I'll show him. So the next day, the stork went to the fox's house and knocked on his door. He was very surprised to see her. You were very kind to me yesterday, fox, she said. So kind that I'd like to repay your kindness and invite you to come and have dinner at my house tomorrow. The fox was surprised, but he didn't want to show the stork that he was surprised, so he said, yeah, thank you, stork. I'd love to come to dinner tomorrow. Don't be late, will you? She said. I don't want the soup to go cold. And she smiled at the fox as she turned to go home. If I didn't know her better, I'd think she was up to something, thought the fox. The following day, the fox arrived at the stork's house. He hadn't eaten anything all day and was really looking forward to his dinner. The stork asked him to sit at the table and said the soup wouldn't be long before it was ready. A few minutes later, the stork put the tallest jug the fox had ever seen in the middle of the table. The jug was full of delicious steaming soup, but the fox's face fell when he realised that he was expected to share the jug with the stork. The jug was so tall and had such a narrow opening at the top that he couldn't possibly drink out of it. In my part of the wood, said the stork, we also usually share a dish, and I always use this jug. You don't mind sharing, do you? And she daintily dipped her long, thin beak into the tall jug and drank the soup easily. The fox couldn't get his nose into the jug even. He could only lick the soup drops that dribbled over the edge of the jug. He was hungry and angry, but he couldn't complain because, of course, he'd played exactly the same trick on the stork 2 days earlier. In future, thought the fox, I'll treat other people as I want them to treat me. It was quite unkind of the stork to play the same nasty trick on the fox, because really 2 wrongs don't make a right. But it certainly taught the fox a lesson, didn't it? Okay, hands together, eyes closed, or just close your eyes and think to yourself. Dear God, please help us to think about other people. Help us to be considerate towards others. Help us to treat other people as we hope that they will treat us. Amen. Okay, that's really important that we do that, okay? And I think this term is going to be a really good term for you, showing us just exactly how respectful you can be. I look forward to Monday's assembly when I find out the first people who've got their respect badges. So well done, everyone. Take care. I'll see you later. Bye-bye.